Good evening, good people. It is Saturday. Welcome, January 11th, 2020. And it is snowing, more so sleeting over here in Chicago. It's a little bit rough. So I'm always teased about the sound of the keyboard when I type. So you will be hearing wind with gusts up to 40 miles an hour here in the Chi. You will also hear sleet. And then you probably would hear the trucks because they'll be out sprinkling the snow. I mean, not the snow, the salt because of the ice. And yeah, that's what you're going to hear. So we will get through it. It's no big thing. It's not going to take away from the show. I'll mute up when I'm not talking. And that's that. I've been preparing for it because we got the information Friday, which was yesterday, that we're going to have a lot of rain, which we did, possibility of flooding, which has happened in some places. And then they also prepare people to be aware that their travel times at O'Hare and Midway may be delayed slightly. And yes, it was. It was delayed, all right. So, hey, what can you do? What can you say? Leave extra early and nothing you can do with Mother Nature. And then again, is it Mother Nature? I don't know. Could it be Father Nature? I've always heard Mother Nature. I don't know. Could it be the father of nature? I don't know. But I will greet the chat. Thank you for participating. I appreciate your support. DJ Music over there on GSRN. That's Global Sensation Radio Network on the internet. And thanks for coming through, Art, which is the greatest, the best, I don't say the greatest, the best artist on YouTube. Thank you so much. Oh, yeah, YouTube Zero, yeah. Just teasing. How are you doing, Zero? Hey, Don Teasy. Hope you're taking it easy. Yeah, but thank you guys for coming through. You could have chose to be anywhere else, but I appreciate that you came here and check us out for a little while. We don't want to take much of your time. We just want to share a few things that's on our mind. How about that? Well, other than the weather, um, not a whole lot to talk about. Let me see what I got for you. Let me begin. Let's see. Where will I start? Hope you like my thumbnail with Samuel Jackson. That's the dude right there. But I will explain why I have him as a thumbnail. Because to me, he's the best of the topic that I will speak about. Let's see. I only have one, two, actually I have about, oh, I do have about four things to mention. It wouldn't take me long, so let me see what I'm going to start off with first. Oh, I know what I'm going to start off with. This fake racial slur on a coffee cup. That's what I'm going to start. Okay, let me check because we need a doorbell. And Gage and Dan, they are the face of StreamYards, and they are working on um, getting a doorbell so that way when people come in your chat room and they're back there, because you can't see them, because a lot of times we look at the YouTube page, so I will be checking back and forth, make sure that no one's back there. And in fact, let me post a link in case a lady would like to join us. All right. Oh, there it is. All right. Okay, I'm going to start off with this Kansas City officer. He resigns after lying about the derogatory message written on his McDonald's coffee. Now, in my opinion, and let me put it in here just in case you guys don't know about the story, because I'm only going to share the screen a few times. So at least I can put this in here. You can read at your leisure. Because you know how I do it. My style is I point one thing out. I don't care where he's born sometimes, how old he is, unless that's just a point I want to bring out. So let me go back to the story. All right, so it was a Kansas police officer who initially claimed that McDonald's employee wrote a slur, and you'll see it when you check yourself, on his cup. And he ended up resigning. And this was for New Year's. But I know he resigned January 1st. I think this happened New Year's either Eve or day. Okay, so they did an investigation and they found out cases that were just say lie. That's all he did. He just lied. And so he ended up, I don't know what's going on with these people. Because I would like to know, because of course they're hiding that as far as his age and all that kind of stuff. Because sometimes you want to know and you can kind of pinpoint what's going on in a person's mind. Sometimes when you look at their age, You can like, okay, well, they're in this particular age group and they're around these particular type of people. This is what's going on, whatever. But I'm gonna assume that this dude is in his eh, late 20s, early 30s at the most. I have no proof of that. Hey, I'm just taking a stab at it because, of course, they hide his identity. Don't want to show the liar, just want to, say that he resigned. But yet he was proud to show the cup. But anyway, that's another story. So I'm just gonna assume that this guy was in the social media, time, which is mostly, our younger people, 35 and under. And he decided, he wanted a little attention. That's what my guess is, and he got his attention. He got so much attention that he ended up losing his job because it didn't matter if he was going to resign or not. Um, they probably was going to fire him anyway because it depends on how he uses social media, how much he did of it. Because if he shared it, let's say just Facebook, no, that's too big. I don't want to use that one. Let's say Instagram, maybe that wouldn't go as far. But it also, like I said, it probably depends on how he shared it. Um, who knows him? I'm not quite sure what's going on in Kansas. I think Dorothy is there, ha ha ha. But he ended up having to lose his job, whichever way. That was more important. His little few minutes of fame on social media, and I'm hope he's happy now. He can write on all the cups that he liked now. He can sit at home and write, "I am a beep beep idiot." He can practice his penmanship all he likes now because he's at home. Now there are times that a lot of people they got the hook up, they know someone and they get them another job, but I have a feeling that that may not be his destiny. His destiny may be sweeping floors. Who knows? But I'm putting that out there. That's what I want to say.
Now, can I just say that your suggestion that he works on his penmanship is a very good one because I mean that writing was just rough on that cup. Let's all be serious here. You could have tried a little more, try to make it a little clearer and come on. Come on. I was disappointed, The effort. You took the cup out, you sat in your car. I mean, you could have just emptied the cup out so you could lie it flat on your lap or something. I don't know. I don't know what he was trying to do, but I'm just disappointed in the penmanship personally. I think, that was definitely like a failing grade. Uh, you know, I gotta say this. And one side now, this guy did not actually post it onto Facebook or whatever. What he did was he sent it to an associate. Mm.
What?
Right. So he didn't now, I guess he figured it would look maybe more shady or like he was looking for attention if he did it himself. So he did it. He sent it to someone who then posted it. So, like, look what happened to, my buddy in arms, kind of thing. So he wasn't even the one who initially posted it onto Facebook. So I'm not even sure. And here's the thing.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out what kind of attention this guy was looking for. And I have a feeling what he wanted was social validation. Um,
Mm.
like just within his own peer group, maybe to make him more one of the boys. Maybe he was one of those guys who just wasn't, part of the in crowd. And so he wanted to do something to prove he's part of the in crowd. Just like,
Mm-hmm.
Jussie Smollett. Like I guess he figured he wasn't persecuted enough, so therefore he didn't get to be gay enough because gay people are persecuted. So hey, let's create a whole scenario to make me blacker and gayer by showing you how victimized I am, right? So I think it was like that. Like, yo, see, look, they think I'm a pig too, right? See, look what I went through. All right, buddies, gather around with me and give me validation. I don't think he really thought it through that if people bought his story, they weren't going to just leave it there and be like, oh, well, it's okay. We just won't go to that McDonald's. They're terrible people. And oh, well, like, because I agree. I'm sure this is a young guy in the millennial era, and they don't think things through. Like, they don't have that power of just just a little bit further. Push your thought a little bit further and think to yourself, what could happen and am I prepared for the consequences of what could happen? Maybe. Like I don't know. I couldn't not. When I saw the title, I was like, "You're kidding!" Like I laughed. You know, I laughed. I was like, "What do you mean fake insults on coffee? What are you talking about? Come on, that didn't really happen. Didn't know it happened. There's oh Lord Jesus, these millennials. I don't know what we're gonna do with them. I don't.
I want to welcome Michael Carter. I met him over on someone's chat room, and I appreciate he decided to check out my page. He subscribed, and he said he was going to come through.
Oh, hello,
And
Mr. Carter.
yeah, a man of his word. And he's also from Chicago as well. So thank you so much. I hope you're staying in and keeping warm because that temperature has dropped and that wind is mean.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Now,
except for here. Here we got your yesterday storm. We have that today. Power
oh,
outages and everything. Oh yeah, it's great. Thank you for passing that along. I appreciate that, Shar. It was great.
I heard a lot about the weather, but I'm gonna say this last thing about this fake coffee cup guy. He what I find is people think of step one, like I'm gonna do this, and then step two, because this is what I want to happen. But they don't go to step three.
Mhm.
That's the only thing.
Mhm.
I'm gonna,
Yes.
I know what I'm gonna do. I want some attention, so I'm going to fake that I'm being beat up. I'm gonna have this fake bleach and rope around my neck. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, and then everybody gonna see it. But he didn't think about step three. It's below zero in January in
Mhm.
Chicago. No one's out. Schools were closed. Colleges was closed. They even told us we didn't even have to come to work. If
Mm.
we had personal time, we can use it. The train tracks were frozen.
Wow.
That's how bad it was. So they don't think past step three, just
Mhm.
one and two.
Mhm. Mhm. That's too much extra thinking, right? I mean, but what can you expect from a generation that has never learned how to spell words on account of the fact that everything is an acronym? So they don't even have to like learn how to plan out a sentence. They can just put in an acronym and there you go. It wrote it for them. You got the gist, right? Like
Yeah, look what zero just wrote. See there?
see? Exactly. You
Ah.
don't have to think out the word. Just I know the acronym NVM. Done. There you go.
Boy, I tell you.
LOL. Oh, it's extra funny. LMFAO. There you go. Right? Oh, not that funny. LMAO. There you go. We're done. It's fine.
Boy, I tell you. But I'll be working on his penmanship, like I said, because he's gonna need it for the future. I'm pretty sure.
Definitely, because I mean, cop is not in his future. I'm sure security guard is probably not even in his future. So I don't know. Secretary? I don't know. He's probably going to end up working at that exact same McDonald's. Poor thing.
Right. I remember you. You lied on me.
Mm-hmm.
Catch
Better
me
be careful.
outside.
How about that? Yeah, see, there you go. We don't even have to come up with our own threats anymore. Someone comes up with one and we just all roll with it. Catch me outside. How about that? We're all good with that. I know what that means.
Right. That's all.
Right? That means I'm overprivileged white girl mad. That's what I am. So
Ooh wee.
mm-hmm.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
mm, mm. Well, welcome and thank you for stopping by. I appreciate your help.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. It is always a pleasure.
Enjoy your conversation. And I started off, so I will give the floor to you for something that you wanted to bring up.
Okay, well, I want to talk about this stealing babies issue we got going on. And so there's a couple reasons why I wanted to bring it up. First of all, and this is for those of y'all, I don't know, you might have heard of the story because a bunch of stuff was done on it last year and the year before, the Kamaya Mobley story. She was a girl who at 18 years old found out that she was actually kidnapped at birth, and her mother wasn't really her mother. And her mom ends up getting arrested and whatever. Now there's actually going to be they're doing a Lifetime movie. It airs on January 18th, so that's actually coming up. It's right around the corner. It's 7 days away. um but what also happened, which is, oh my god, I can't believe this, like after all of this stuff has been building up in the news over the last year, and we find out, hey, listen, even if it's 18 years later, you're gonna get caught one day. We have this white woman who decided, well, I can only get caught if there's someone still looking for the baby. So I have a better idea. I'm going to kill the mother and take the baby. Now, this is going to
Okay.
sound crazy. This is crazy. This is really crazy. There's a woman, okay? Um Her name is, oh geez, I don't know, honestly. I probably am saying this, Megan Firemuska.
What you
Megan,
call me? Now
right?
look here. Now I done invited you to this show. Here you go with the name calling.
I tried. Now this Megan Firemuska chick, um, she had a friend, and her friend got pregnant. And when her friend got pregnant, she said, "Oh my God, I'm pregnant too. Let's be pregnant together. This is great." And so they went through their entire pregnancies together. And her friend went into labor first. And, she went over there, she helped her, she stayed overnight and whatever. And then she left, and they said, "Hey, do you still have the guest key that we normally have and whatever?" She said, "No, no, no, I left it there inside the apartment." They're like, "Oh, we can't find it, but oh well, we'll find it later." Well, what ended up happening is the woman who had given birth for real already and had a baby, this Broussard, now she all of a sudden disappears. Her and her daughter disappear. And they go over to Fieramuska's house. I'll just call her Megan. Megan. I swear, Mage, Megan. Um,
Okay.
go to Megan's house now, and Megan apparently had a baby. Oh, hooray. But here's the thing. So Megan has a baby. Okay, this is gonna sound great. Megan had a baby. No one saw her give birth to this baby, including the father of the baby, supposedly. He was just like, nah, she just called me and said, "Hey, I'm home. I had the baby." What? Okay. Yeah. So, now police come over to her house and say, "Hey, so where'd you have the baby?" I don't remember. "Who delivered the baby?" I don't remember. Uh,
Lord.
okay. Yeah, I don't remember. You just had a baby like 2 days ago. You don't remember where you had the baby, what the doctors delivered. Do you have discharge papers? Nothing. I lost them. The dog ate them. Oh, well, this seems likely. Now, while they were there, they smelled the unmistakable smell of death, and they get a warrant. They open her car trunk, and in the car trunk is Broussard, dead. To come to find out that Megan was never pregnant. She sat there and for several months lied about being pregnant, masqueraded as being pregnant. So the whole entire time that her good friend was pregnant, this was her plan. She planned out for like basically 9 months that what she was going to do is wait for her friend to have a baby, steal the baby and kill the friend, and then masquerade for the rest of her life as she had that baby.
Wow.
Right. Crazy, crazy. This is just in the news January 6th of 2020. So this is just happening right now. Um and I could not believe when I saw I was looking up, the fake kidnappings. And it's like, no, this is a real kidnapping over a fake pregnancy. And I was just like, no. No, this couldn't have happened. Like, this is not, in most of these cases where you have these women who do this, it's stranger stuff, right? They go and steal some stranger's baby. They
Right.
go murder some stranger and take the baby, or cut the baby out of something crazy like that, but it's a stranger. But in this case, these are all people who have the same social circle. And So she said, "Oh, I know how to get around that. I'll just pretend I'm pregnant the whole time." And people said that no, they saw her visibly pregnant. They never questioned the fact that she was actually pregnant the whole entire time. So I don't know if it was the way she was gaining weight on purpose, or maybe she had fake belly that she had bought, one of those realistic types, or I'm not
Mhm.
really sure. But no one, until Broussard disappeared with this baby, no one suspected anything. They really thought that she was really pregnant. She was a good friend. There was nothing, no ill will, no ill intent going on there until Broussard disappeared.
Wow. So I'm going to eliminate my friend just to have the child, and I'm going to live happily ever after. Hmm. Let
Yeah,
me think about that. Let me think
mhm,
about that. No one to call. Hey, girl, what you doing?
mhm,
Hmm. Now, why wouldn't I just decide to just get pregnant, have a baby, try very hard? If it doesn't happen, go to the next steps because I still have to raise this child, whether I take this my friend's child or not. They're going to need all those things that they're going to need, whether I birth the child or not.
mhm.
What the world?
Right, right. And you know what's funny is I thought the same thing. Why? Why do this? This seems crazy, right? Um, Now I did find an article, and it's related back to the Kamaya case when they were writing about this, because this has actually happened. They said 325 reported cases, documented cases of this having happened in the last 5 decades. Um, so I mean, it doesn't happen all the time, but it's happened enough times that they can kind of see that there are certain trends, right? And
Hmm.
so they say many women who steal babies do so in a desperate attempt to keep a boyfriend or husband they fear may leave them if they don't have a child to bind them together. They are of childbearing age and may already have children at home. They may pretend to be pregnant, they may have recently lost a baby due to miscarriage, or they may suffer from a medical condition that prevents them from becoming pregnant themselves. So this is those are big factors. First of all, is if you think about it, you don't want to lose a significant other. You don't want to lose your husband or your boyfriend or whatever. Um, but that means you're in the process of losing him. That probably means that you guys aren't really regularly having sex, which means your likelihood of getting pregnant is lower. Also, if he's already got one foot out the door, there's a good chance that he's not forgetting to wear a condom ever. Um, so, because he's probably thinking that, like, I don't want an accidental baby, whereas then she desperately wants one. Um, so, you think about that. Okay, well, how in the world would I get pregnant then? Well, you could just say, "Oh my God, I'm pregnant. I have no idea how it happened, but obviously it's yours," and he's gonna stick around. And then, well, that's gonna work for a few months, at least up to 9, but eventually you got to produce a baby, right? So if you want this little act to keep working out, you got to produce the baby. At some point, the baby's got to come out of you. Um, so
Okay.
that would be the first thing that they talked about. And then the next one, I think it has to do with people who the ones who are of childbearing age but have children at home already. Well, you'd think, well, you already have kids, so what do you need more for, to the point that you're going to steal them? There's a couple different things. One would be women who they're not over having children. They want more babies, but the husband says we can't afford more babies. We've got enough. I don't want more. So again, it's that idea of he's not going to allow an accidental pregnancy, so you are going to create one. Um, that would be thing one. Thing two, though, is I think some of these women, what they state, for example, in the case with Kamaya Mobley, um, what she stated is she wanted the baby, obviously, but why did she take that baby? She took that baby because those were teen parents, and she felt that they were not going to be able to give her a good life. they're teen parents from the hood. They were, underprivileged.
Mhm.
And so they're going to be able to raise their kid in the hood. Oh my God, can you hear that? It's like hailing against my windows. Anyway,
Oh yeah,
um,
doing that over here too. Continue.
like, la Jesus, this weather. Anyway, but yeah. So she felt like, well, I could do better. So I'm not going to hurt this baby. I'm just going to take it away from parents who probably should have given it up for adoption anyway. And I'm going to do better for this kid. I'm going to give this kid all the breaks. I'm going to give this kid all of the things that the parents aren't wouldn't be able to do. In essence, I'm going to do better, and this kid deserves better. And that's kind of the lie that they tell themselves. Because if that was the case, then they could go about it the legal way through actual adoption agencies. Babies being put up for adoption often. But
Mm.
in those cases, I mean, there are some of these women who are single mothers, and in that case, are single women, and so because they don't have maybe the right kind of setup, they feel like maybe they'll be denied. But in the Kamaya Mobley case, um, she wasn't, so she might have fallen into the last category, which are people who desperately want children but can't have them
Mhm.
for whatever medical reasons. Maybe they had to have a hysterectomy, which, I mean, in that case, that's some real crazy stuff. But maybe they just have some infertility issues that they're not getting past, and they can't afford things like several rounds of in vitro, or they've tried in vitro and they failed, or in some of these cases, these women, the ones who don't do the elaborate scheme of pretending they're pregnant first and stuff, but they just go snatch a baby, oftentimes it's because those women have stillbirths, or they just went through a miscarriage later on in pregnancy, one way or the other. And, it's that trauma and all that built up expectation and whatever. And they can't go back and tell their husband or their family or whatever there's no baby. They can't do it, and they can't really tell themselves that
Mm.
that's what really happened. And so in kind of this psychotic state, they go take this baby and pretend that's the baby that they've been carrying for that 9 months or 8 months or however long it was before they miscarry.
Whew. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's a lot of psychological issues at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day, regardless.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those things where we don't realize that whole postpartum depression thing, it can attach very early on. That is to say, because your hormones start skyrocketing for women
Mhm.
very early on in pregnancy, which means if you suddenly have a miscarriage, right? I mean, everything just plummets all at once, right? All of a sudden, all those feel good hormones are just gone. Um,
Mhm.
so postpartum can kick in from having a miscarriage, and you can have miscarriages that don't need hospital intervention for a couple months. So we have no idea how many of these women might have had miscarriages that didn't need hospital intervention first, and then they got into the psychotic state as a result of it, right?
Whew. That's that's a bit much though, and
Mm-hmm.
it's really sad because again, if they don't have people around them to kind of spot some of those things, they don't have a good support system, or maybe the people around them just ignore them. I don't know. Um, I'm thinking there was some type of sign somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
um, but it's it's still sad overall to go that far to murder someone that is your friend.
Yes, exactly. And from what I'm seeing here with the news, should have actually I have the thing here, but I wanted to play it, but then I realized I'm like, I don't know if the sound will actually play if I play it on here, if you'd be able to hear the sound as well as see it. But it's sounding like, even though they know all of these details, right? And Don TZ said in the chat, like, why in the trunk though? And I'm like, I thought the same. Dude, drop her off on the side of the highway over bringing her in your car and then leaving her in the trunk on the driveway. Like, what were you thinking? Why did you think that that was the best plan, though? Right? Like, I'm not like I'm not trying to
She
help
want to
people
be
become
she
better
want to be close to a
parents,
friend.
right?
That's it's so psychotic.
doesn't make any sense. I was so confused about that detail too. But it seems as though, despite obviously the overwhelming evidence, she's got the woman's baby. She's got the
Hmm.
woman dead inside of the trunk of her car. She has not been arrested for murder yet. And the family is wondering why not. That's what actually is coming out on January 6th here in the news is why wouldn't she arrested yet? You know she did it. This is not a question. This is not, well, I want to, maybe she gave her the baby and ran away. Nope. You know that didn't happen. A hundred
Right.
percent for sure. Like whatever story she concocts, whatever you want to believe about the innocent white woman, I don't know, but what you know for sure is there's a dead body in her trunk and the baby in her arms, and she's claiming it's hers. So
Hmm.
something shady happened, and she should be arrested. This is to me
Right.
common sense 101.
Murder.
Right,
Hello. This is
right.
not just maybe kidnapping. This is murder. Hello.
Murder. Yes, exactly. Hey, I'm gonna post this inside the chat so y'all can see it because I want y'all to be able to hear this news report here because it's just like it doesn't make any sense. This does not make any sense to me, and I don't understand it myself. Now, we see them protect white people all the time. And it's annoying to us when white people can do no wrong for crimes, but this is one where it's like, really? Like, really? We're gonna allow people to kidnap a woman to steal her baby and murder her, and well, we're not really sure if we want to charge her with a crime yet, so like let's just wait it out and see. Like, wait,
Yeah.
what?
Maybe we can
Like,
find another charge and not, that's not so close to murder. Let's see what we can
yeah.
find. Yeah, give it a couple of weeks. That is so crazy.
Right? Like, come on. Enough now. Like, enough now. We need to, even if there's mental health issues and whatever, I don't care. She still committed this crime, right? Like, mental health does not mean that, hey, well, you didn't do anything wrong then. It's just about how we are going to um punish you or treat you for the crime you committed, but the crime is still the crime. Like, one way or the other, whatever you want to do. I don't care if y'all, well, no, I do kind of care a little bit if you decide to arrest her and then release her on bail. But even if you want to do that, this family deserves justice. They were just in this, super happy place in their lives. A new baby came into the world. This woman, she was just about to start off motherhood. This should have
Yeah.
been a glorious time for this family. And because of this selfish woman, um, she decided to take that all away, and forever that baby's life and birthday is going to be tied to this. That is
Yeah.
super tragic, and I don't. In this case, I'm sorry, but I just can't find that much sympathy for Megan over there. I just can't.
No, she gets nothing.
Mm-mm.
Flat out, nothing.
Exactly. Oh, look at that! I see Sister George and Poetic Kel's up in the building. Hey, y'all!
Whoop whoop.
Right? Love my ladies, love my ladies. And I saw DJ Music as well. I know he was here earlier, but I didn't see him personally. So I'm going to say what's up to him too. And obviously Zero and Don TZ. What's up, y'all? Michael Carter. Well, I said hi to you, so you're all right. Anyway, but yeah, no, I'm finding this really disturbing. I'm finding it disturbing that somehow or another, I think we're failing. We're failing women when it comes to this maternal stuff. And I'm not sure how because other countries do not have such high instances of this, right?
Hmm.
They really don't. So something's going wrong. Is it pressure? Because on one side you would think, well, maybe it's pressure, but in this day and age, women
Uh-uh.
are allowed to sit there and be like, I don't want to be no mother, and they're praised for that. So it's not like external pressure to that extent. It's not like, well, you're not a woman unless you have a baby. Um, you know, could it be pressure as far as a spouse leaving? Yes, that is actually, I will say, a real fear because it's sad to say though, but I have seen miscarriages or
Hmm.
inability to actually have a child tear relationships apart. So I guess there's a fair fear there. But with that being said, does that mean then maybe we aren't supporting, we don't have enough services available for people who can't have children? Or who go through things like miscarriages? Like, are we brushing off miscarriages like they're not a thing and we're not taking them seriously enough?
Hmm. I don't think so because that's a loss. And if you have your family and friends around you and they see that, they're sad for you as well. And they're in your circle. So also, I'm not for sure what type of support groups they actually have just for that, but there's always there, always.
Mm,
So that's out there as well. Um, and I know the social workers in hospitals, they do their job. They do
mm-hmm,
their job. I like that about them. So it's out there. Now, as far as the person accepting it, because everyone grieves differently, you know,
mm-hmm.
that's something to think about. Everyone grieves differently. Some people like, I just want to be alone. I just want quiet. Some people
Yeah.
want to be around a lot of people, and when it gets quiet, that's when it's they're not doing too well.
Yes.
So you have to kind of watch that person and see whatever sign you can to help them. But
Mm-hmm.
to go this far,
Right.
and then also as far as this is what I picture. If a guy is pretty much, you guys are having problems, he's not enjoying you anymore, he doesn't like you, love you, whichever, and you go ahead and have a baby, he's still going to stick around. I mean, he may stick around
Mm-hmm.
and treat you with some dignity, but it's only because he's assuming that you have his seed. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like, oh, I love you, girl. It has nothing to do with that. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
that's my seed. Okay, well, I'm going to make sure you're all right while you carry my seed. After the child is born, same thing. Oh, well, you're the mother of my child. I mean, you okay? Okay, now let me deal with my seed here. What I need to do with my seed, what I need to do, the next step. But as far as love and all that, lovey dovey, and I don't think that's there. He
Mm-hmm.
may just tolerate you,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but if you just think he's around for lovey dovey, and if it's, maybe that's enough for some of these ladies. I don't know,
Yes.
but it's not going to change him too much. Once
Mm-mm.
that foot is out the door, it's out the door
Mm-hmm.
mentally. Once he leaves mentally, he's gone.
Mm-hmm. It's such a good point, and I think that this is actually it's a more old school belief system than new school, because I think new school is all about this toxically romantic idea of what a relationship's supposed to be. Like, if it's not all deep in love, lovey-dovey, roses and pedestals and whatever, then it's not working. So I think we've gone the other way with that, and this is more old school. But I do think that there are still some people from the old school mentality that him not leaving is good enough. He doesn't have to love her. He doesn't even have to like her. Doesn't have to be attracted to her, because it's almost like what matters most is the outward appearance. I have a husband. I have a family. I have a house. Like, I am good enough to have all those things. And they don't really care about what's actually going on within those walls. And I don't think that it's because they don't think other people really get love or whatever. I think it
Mhm.
has to do a lot to do with their mental perception of themselves. Like, they don't think that they personally deserve or would ever be able to attain real, like, love and contentment with someone, and because they look down upon themselves. So for them, having a man simply stay is the benchmark, is the goal. Or maybe they come from kind of like that cycle where women in their family and friend circles and whatever, that's the thing, men always leave. So if you can have a man who stays, that's good enough, because that's telling you that you are better than most, because at least he stayed. And I've actually, not only have I heard people say that, but I actually know someone who did that and is doing that now. She still do. I can guarantee you that that man does not love her or like her or respect her any more today than he did 11 years ago, at all. And see, the thing is, actually, no, I'll say 9 years ago, 9 years ago, because 11 years ago is when they were all actually in love. And they got married, and he was like, this is not what I wanted or was expecting necessarily, and he became really disillusioned. She got pregnant accidentally, for real, because I don't know, she's an idiot, but the hospital that she was at did not tell her. She was in the Dominican Republic, and they did not tell her that if she's on antibiotics, that it will stop the birth control pill from being effective. And she was on heavy duty IV antibiotics for months. And it took her like a month to recover from home anyway. So she really didn't think anything. They didn't think anything of um, her, them having sex and whatever. And so she got pregnant. It was like, oops. Well, okay, so she's gonna come back to Canada to have the baby. And in the time between that and him coming afterwards, he had had a whole affair with this chick, and he was like, I don't even think I want to come to Canada. The only reason I'm gonna do it is because she's gonna have my kid. And he told me, and I said, you got to be honest with her. If you don't want to be in this relationship, you got to be honest with her. You got to let her know where you stand, what you want, and whatever, and how you feel. And basically, what she kind of did was, it was extortion. She said, well, if you want to ever see your kid again, you're not leaving me. Simple enough. I don't care. You don't have to wear your ring. You don't have to say you love me. You don't have to any of those things. But if you want to ever see your kid, you can't leave me. That was it. And then it was that she used that, held that over his head for, I think, almost 7 years. It took her to actually complete the paperwork, for him to have his citizenship. And a lot of it had to do with her. Again, it's extortion. Well, I didn't like the way you said that about me, or I don't like the way you treat me, or I don't like the fact that you said you were really going to leave as soon as the paperwork came through. So, oh well, I'll just let everything stall. And then once everything stalls and all these things become expired, and then you have to do them again, and oh well, you want me to do the hard work? Well, you better be nice to me. So it was like this whole thing. It was this game, and she did not care that he didn't love her anymore. Did not care that he wasn't attracted. Didn't care about how he would talk to her, how he would treat her, at all, as long as he didn't leave. That was her benchmark. And she was good with that. And eventually, I ended that friendship. I ended that friendship with her. And he eventually became kind of, I'm gonna say, chicken shit, and he ended his friendship with us. When I say us, I mean me and my husband. And so we hadn't spoken to him in a few years. And then, boom, there's a new baby. We're like, oh my God, there's another kid now. This is like, the first one's like maybe 9. Now there's a baby. This is terrifying, because I know that they did not develop mutual love and respect for each other. I know that didn't happen. He got his citizenship though. And at that point, it was almost like learned helplessness beaten to his head. He's not going anywhere. So he isn't leaving. That's her benchmark. She does not care what that man does, as long as he does not leave her house. That is good enough for her.
Wow.
Um, yeah, exactly. And so I think that that is what happens. And some women really do that. I decided. I decided I'm going to have all my kids with one guy. And once we have kids, we're together forever and whatever. And they do not care what they have to go through to maintain that illusion, that fantasy. That's what they want. And that's what they're willing to fight to the death to get.
Okay then. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you keep all that, but all right.
I'm just saying. I know there's a lot of crazy Canadians up in here. I never said there wouldn't. That's all I'm saying.
Mhm. Well,
Hey, fitness mom. Oh, you know what? See, now this is an interesting fact. See, I think because she said he wanted to be with her. Here's the thing. He was disgusted by her. specifically about the kind of weight. She's not the type of person who gains weight well. She turns into a potato on very skinny legs, not an attractive look. And she's a white girl, and he wasn't really into white girls like that. He actually met her while she was married to a guy with the same name as him. Hilarious, I know. And
Interesting.
yeah, it is, right? But what happened is they needed a roommate. Her and her husband needed a roommate. So this guy with the same name ended up being their roommate, and everyone was cool and friendly. But her husband was very abusive, like physically abusive. Like actually broke her jaw and was wired shut, like really
Oh,
badly. Yes, but when she turned to her parents kind of for help, her parents weren't about saving her because A, she's a problem, B, because she was excommunicated by the Jehovah's Witness church. So as it was, they're not supposed to be talking to her at all. So when she found A, a husband, and B, a Jehovah's Witness husband, they were about that life. Like, no, he goes to church still, he's a Jehovah's Witness, you married a Jehovah's Witness. Like, you can't, they really didn't want that to break up. They didn't want to see what was right in front of them. And that had a lot to do with religion. So she stayed there, and towards the end, where honestly it's like he's gonna kill her. Finally the parents got it in their heads, like, oh, maybe this is not good. So they said, okay, keep yourself safe. We are gonna come get you. And this roommate who had become her friend and a little bit of a defender of her, he decided to stick around. He was supposed to leave to go to this job in Spain, but he decided to stick around to protect her, and until the
hmm.
parents came. So they developed a bond over that. So over the course of the next year or two, that turned into relationship basically.
Oh,
Right. So they developed a deeper bond. He did
okay.
love her. He liked her. It was first of all, yes, the weight thing and the fact that she was white, but it was a cultural thing. He didn't understand the way she functioned. And the more he really looked at these things, he couldn't, like, that's what bothered him. If she could just act the way he thinks a woman should act, and I don't mean like bowing to him or whatever. I mean like things like, for example, okay, so she thought it was acceptable to roll out of bed late and just throw on some clothes and go to work. And he was just like disgusted by that. Like, how could you not shower? It's hot here. Like, we sweat. Like, how do you feel okay starting a new day with like a day and a half of sweat on you? Stuff like that. Or just how messy and filthy kind of that she was, as far as not really cleaning up after herself, letting stuff just build up and damn near grow mold sitting on counters. Just like,
Ooh,
it was like little things. The fact that she didn't wash herself with a rag, because white people don't wash themselves with rags. They use maybe a puff if they got one. Otherwise, they just rub the soap on their body. Just little things. It was those little details, and they just kept building up in his mind. And he was like, this is gross, and I don't really want to raise my kids with these thought processes. Um, so that is, I think, really what he didn't like about her. And then there's so many things about her in general, just but those are just quirks about a human that make you want to kill them at all times. And I feel him on that, because I wanted to kill her most of the time too, for all those reasons, because she was a very irritating human. And I think it came down to, like, on one side, this is something he wanted to kind of work out. I think he really likes, though, and I'm being honest here. And sorry if anyone who knows who I'm talking about is listening or listens to this and knows who I'm talking about, because, but I think what he really, really likes is her parents. Because she's a spoiled brat. She's a spoiled rich kid. Not that rich, but she might as well be a multimillionaire, because the way that her parents spoil her is like she's a multimillionaire. So and he's attached to that life. So because he's attached to that life, he is spoiled rotten. They can be lazy. They can let all of their responsibilities drop. Her parents will never let her fall, which means her parents will never let him fall, which means, oh, he wants to throw an art exhibit. Okay, great. Her parents will pay for all of it. You know what I mean? He
mm,
wants this and this and this camera that's $1,000. Okay, well, her parents will help front the money. It's just that spoiled life, and I think he really doesn't want to unattach himself from that
yeah,
life. I think that's really what it is.
yeah. That's
Mm-hmm.
what that sounds like. Ooh,
Mhm.
all right.
I know. Hey, we're getting into some stuff in 2020 here. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Well,
Mhm.
what I have up next is I'm sharing a screen, and it says man calls cop on home intruder that turns out to be Roomba vacuum cleaner. What's really going on?
Lord
Now
Jesus.
I'm gonna read this story, but I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna skip over it because I'm not gonna give any names. I'm just going to reference the gender, and because this is kind of tie into what we were talking about earlier with the not being arrested. All right, me. Oh, I'm not saying this right. All right, this is a story. Homeowner in North Carolina called 911 to report an intruder that turned out to be a rogue Roomba. Right. Several officers stormed into a home in North Carolina after the startled homeowners called and reported an intruder in the middle of the night. The suspected burglar turned out to be a rogue robot vacuum cleaner. Over the holidays, the husband and wife were watching a movie just after midnight when they heard a series of noise coming from downstairs. They both were alarmed. They paused the movie. Um, the husband told the wife to go into a safe place, and she did. And he immediately grabbed his gun, and they stayed silently waiting to see if, about the more noises, try to figure out where they were coming from specifically. So they decided someone was definitely downstairs rummaging through their things, and it sounded kind of close to them. The husband told the wife to call 911. He pointed his gun at the bedroom door, and he was set on protecting his wife and his 2-year-old daughter, who were sleeping soundly next door, one bedroom over. He says his military training came back to him. He analyzed the path the intruder would take, their line of fire, all that good stuff. And then he also checked out how he can decrease their risk of getting hurt. All right, so the authority, this is where it all gets juicy for me. The authorities arrived within a minute. I didn't write this. This is what I'm reading.
Mhm.
They arrived in a minute. A minute in Chicago is 60 seconds. How long is a minute over there in Canada?
Last time I checked, it was also 60 seconds here.
Ain't that some 60 seconds? All right, okay. So the authorities arrived in a minute, searched the home, and the wife, they were on the phone with the dispatcher. The dispatcher told the husband to lower his gun. So they're on the phone with the dispatcher saying, okay, I hear this, all that, they whispering all that good stuff. And the dispatcher said, okay, the police is there, lower your gun. So then the husband goes to the bedroom door, open it up, and the police are standing there with their flashlight shining in their direction. The lead officer asked, sir, I have one question. Is this Roomba yours? That was it. No shooting, no drop your gun, boom, boom, boom. None of that.
Mm,
He asked he asked a question to the homeowner.
mm, weird.
I'll continue to read the rest and then go into
They
my
can do
rant.
that? I didn't know that they
Mm,
could ask questions before shooting.
mm,
That must
yeah,
be a new policy. Okay, sorry, go
yes.
ahead.
Apparently, the couple's new robot vacuum cleaner turned on in the middle of the night. The husband said no one said it to do that. The rumor got stuck under the bottom of the staircase and repeatedly bumping into the wall. So the police told them to please remember to turn off their burglar robot vacuum cleaner. And that was it. That was
Wow.
it. No shooting, nothing. There was,
Wow.
I mean, just check it out. They had some jokes. They were told by the dispatcher on the phone to put his gun down. He had a gun in his home, everyone. We all heard of that before, haven't we?
Wow.
We all heard of that before. But that's what ended up happening. All he had to do, just follow the directions and just, lower the gun and open the bedroom door. He opened his own bedroom door. It wasn't the police burst in saying, I saw a gun, I heard this. None of that. Isn't it interesting?
Wow.
I couldn't
Wow.
believe it. I,
Hmm.
I just could not believe it. I looked a couple of times, I read it. I'm like, is this really true?
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
just
White
couldn't
people.
believe it.
Hmm.
So, I didn't say any names on purpose because I didn't to see if there's going to be any difference. So I'm going to show you a picture of, that's a husband and wife, and that's all I was intending on saying. That's all I wanted to say. Because I just want to see if anyone else, can see that maybe there's a pattern, maybe there's coincidence. I don't know. Maybe you all can see something I can't see. I don't know. You know. And this was the lovely couple that had the gun,
Hmm.
that was told to lower the gun, that opened the bedroom door, and the police were standing there, more than one now, and they were aiming flashlights,
Wow.
flashlights, I tell you.
Hmm. So what you're saying is that when the police are called to a white person's house and they say, there's a burglar inside of my house, the police are quick to pull out their flashlights, not shoot anybody at the littlest movement anywhere, and carefully investigate. But when they're called to a black person's house, just for a welfare check because the front door's open and we're not sure if the people inside are okay, they are
Mm-hmm.
quick to pull out their guns, sneak around stealthily, and shoot at the first movement they see. Okay, I'm just checking.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then they say, I seen a gun.
Mm-hmm.
They always have to throw that in there. They seen a gun.
That's not helping their case because see the I saw a gun was the reason why they gunned down that auntie that they were called to the house for a welfare check, not because anyone saw a robber or thought there was a robber or some type of crime going on. That's why they shot that poor woman inside her house. So they're not helping their case by saying, well, we saw a gun so we thought it best not to shoot anyone. Wait, what? I'm confused. You didn't you thought, hey, they're white people, so they probably are the ones who live here. They're white people, so they're probably not going to shoot us. Like, what was the rationale this time
Mm-hmm.
around versus every time that
Mm-hmm.
was your reason for gunning down an innocent black person inside of their own home? I mean,
They told you they had a gun. Mm-hmm. Go
they
ahead. I'm
killed a
sorry.
little girl. They killed that 4-year-old girl sleeping in bed because they weren't sure if maybe there was a gun under the covers next to the 4-year-old girl. Like that was their reasoning. That's what they said. So they saw a gun. So what happened? I just want to know. Well, they saw a gun, so Let's not overreact, guys. Right. Mm.
Yeah, I'm just
Mm.
gonna aim my flashlight. The dispatchers told us, this man had a gun. Told us, and he's aiming at the door.
Mm. Mm.
And the dispatcher said, "Oh, the officers here, they got there in less than 60 seconds. Lower your gun. They're there. Everything all right. Go to the
Mm.
bedroom. Go to the door and open it. Go ahead.
Mm.
Everything all right."
Mm-hmm.
And everything turned out all right. They joked and probably went for coffee.
Oh yeah, of course, of course. I mean, you know,
They
whereas in
probably gonna get a Christmas card too.
right? I mean, listen, a black man warned them in. I have a gun. It's in my glove compartment. You
Hmm.
pulled me over for a traffic stop. I'm gonna have to go into that glove compartment at some point to get something you're asking me for. So I'm just letting you know, I have a permit. I have a gun inside the car. Okay, great. Now can you just get me your license and registration? Sure. Oh my God, he reached for something. He reached for his license and registration. Well, that's why I shot him dead though, because he told me there was a gun in the car. So you were
I fear
prepared
for
in
my life.
advance. Right, right. You're prepared in advance that there is for sure a gun. You're gonna see one. I'm not gonna admit that there's a gun if I plan on using it on you. So therefore we should all be good. But apparently that logic only works if the skin tone behind the gun is pale. Very, very, very pale. And burns, like sunburns in the sun. That's it. Otherwise, it's not going to work out so well for you. This is what they've literally illustrated. They never should have said anything about the gun because then at least they could have continued pretending like, oh, this is just their natural reaction to a gun. But
Uh-huh.
because they put that in the story, they just told on themselves. They really just told on themselves.
Yeah. And the South, isn't it? North Carolina.
Mm, mm,
That's
worse.
what it said. And they said they aimed flashlights at them. Flashlight, neon light,
Mm-hmm.
da 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 da. That's what they did. They used flashlights. That's what they're doing.
Which is actually, I mean, here that's what they do. So they shine the flashlight directly in your eyes because then you can't see nothing. So
Hmm.
they can see perfectly. You can't see anything to shoot at it anyway, even if you wanted to. So they shine the light directly in your face to temporarily disorient and blind you. It's actually a really good tactic. I just don't understand why they only just now figured out how to use it and only for the young white couple with a kidnapping Roomba in their house. That's all I want to know. Like,
Yeah, inquiring minds. I really want to know what's going on.
mm-hmm.
When I read the
and
story, I want to know.
and from my understanding, because I looked a little bit into this, and this is not the only case that this has happened where a Roomba has been. It's always some white person too. Maybe I don't know. Maybe we don't buy them as often. Maybe we're just not scared of repetitive noises downstairs, so we're willing to check it out. We don't call the police first. I don't know, but these are all white people, and their Roomba gets stuck somewhere and starts banging. They decide that someone's come to kill them inside of their bathroom and is just banging around in their bathroom, but it isn't coming out of the bathroom to kill them. No, 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 just gonna bang around in the bathroom and I don't know, steal your toothpaste or something. I don't know what they're thinking. Call the police. The police show up. There's no robber. It's always this Roomba vacuum thing.
Hmm.
And this is not the only time that it's happened. And what I haven't seen is a case where they've gotten the call
Hmm.
and they've shown up. They
Hmm.
shot somebody who was obviously innocent, that lived in the house and whatever, and then it turned out to be a vacuum cleaner. I've not seen that story once. Not once.
Me neither.
No.
Even the vacuum cleaner survives.
Right. There's a
Ain't that
black
something?
thing moving on the floor. I mean,
Right,
damn.
right. Ain't that
Could be a
something?
drone. You don't know.
I'm like, dang, the people survived and the vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible.
Must be nice.
Yeah,
So like
must be nice.
must be nice, right? Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Crazy. I cannot believe these days though. It's making me feel, and this is just a feeling, but it's making me feel between the cop writing on his coffee cup and now the cops having time to show up in 60 seconds to stop a dangerous Roomba from invading a home. um it makes me feel like maybe they got too much time on their hands in some areas. It really makes me feel that way because I don't understand how there's a lot of people I know, I was one of them, who've called an officer because something was actually really happening, and I
Mm-hmm.
did not get no police response in no 60 seconds. I didn't get no police response in no 5-10 minutes. I don't know what they're talking about 60 seconds to come save them from their vacuum cleaner. I've never heard of this. So I don't understand. Like they got too much time in that area. They really do. Maybe this is part of it's showing us something. Maybe what they're
Mm-hmm.
doing is they are saying, hey, each precinct has X amount of officers, right? So maybe they're saying there's, I don't know, 100 officers in each precinct. And maybe what they need to do, instead of saying that there's a blanket number that each precinct has, maybe they need to take some of these officers that are clearly very, very bored and move them somewhere where, you know what, we need a lot more officers so that way people aren't overworked and underpaid. Maybe, I don't know, maybe that might be a good solution because I think that these cops clearly are bored and do not have anything better to do sometimes, clearly, as is evidenced by 60-second response time to a vacuum. That's all I'm saying. No.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. I agree. Well, I'll do one more story, and then we'll do the judge and jury, and then we'll close out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And what that is how far is too far. Now, with Samuel Jackson being the, about to say the word icon, actually, he is one. I used him as a thumbnail about the. Now, if I wanted this thing to play, it wouldn't have played. That's, I don't want it to play. Every time I go back to this page, it'll start playing. Let me share the screen, then I'll talk.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now, as far as with comfort animals, um, in my building, um, well, let me just give you the overall. With the management, there was no animals allowed. I'm just using the word animals. I'm not even going to use the word dogs, but there was no dogs, no animals allowed. And then as time gone on, and there's more other people that um, are in the area, they like dogs. You know, they like their pets, so they bend the rules or change the rules so they'll be allowed to have animals.
Mm-hmm.
And they pay, make them pay a fee and all of that. And now there are some other buildings that they said no, no pets. However, people slap a vest on the dog and say, "Hey, this is my comfort dog. You know, I need him. You know, you can't prove that he's not, so I need this dog."
Mm-hmm.
So what building management has said, okay, well, you got that vest on the dog, you slap it on there, you said you need him, so we just want you to pay the fee, whatever that is, I think $300, and then whatever the monthly fee is, just pay us that, which they have no problem paying, and we good. And that's what they start, they started doing that. What can I find? Oh, I got some
Mm-hmm.
darn windows open. So they've started doing, more on the, go back, stop, payday. Oh shoot, I'll just stop it. There we are. That's what I wanted. So what they've started doing, having more animals on the planes now. And my question is, how much is too much? And that's what this story is about. How far are you going to go? started off with dogs, and then some people say, okay, I need a hamster, I need uh, a bird, which they just turned one lady down because she had a peacock. They're like, no, lady, we can't, we can't accommodate you. But now they're allowing a horse on a plane,
What?
and oh yeah, oh yes. So
What?
my question is, how far is too far?
No, that's too far. I don't even have to hear the rest of the story. That's too far.
Well, according to this woman, she said that she needs her comfort animal and she's allergic to dog hair, but she's not allergic to horse hair. So she got a horse,
There's
and that is
cats.
her comfort. That is her comfort animal.
What?
And I forgot the airline, but the airline went on and said, okay, she had, of course, she had to buy the roll. So they got paid that way. Now, as far as whatever else happened, as far as the waste and all that, I don't know how they dealt with that. But they
Wait.
said, okay, we'll allow it. And that's what they did. They allowed it.
What?
Now,
How does it
yeah,
even
Don,
fit?
you're right, Don Teasy. They got the snakes on the plane. That's why I used the thumbnail that I used with Samuel Jackson. This is
What?
how far they're gone. And they're going to keep going. It's not going to stop here. Trust me. It is not going to stop here.
But I still want to know how the horse fit on the plane. Like, I, I don't know what kind of roomy ass plane this is, but I know I can barely fit in the damn seat. And walking across that aisle, I know I can barely fit. So where did they put the horse? Like, I can't even fathom how this horse fit on the plane. Is there photographic evidence of this horse on the plane? I don't understand how it worked. Like, I'm not even talking about how reasonable this is at this point. Right now, I'm trying to figure out where did they fit the horse besides in an aisle that would literally prevent anyone from walking up and down the aisle, because where else would it fit? Like, I'm so confused by this horse. Like,
Well, I'm sharing a screen. Let me see if I can move it a little bit where you can see. Let's see. Where's the darn screen?
like
I got so many things open. Okay.
man, people boggle the mind. That's all I got to say about that. Boggle the mind.
Okay, so I got it moving. I don't know. I don't want to give too much, but if you can see it,
Oh, okay, it's a mini horse. Okay, not that I'm saying that it's more real. It's a mini horse. Okay, that's see, Fitness Bobby came up with it way before. It's a mini horse. All right, but still,
yeah, still a horse.
yeah, like I would have been horrified if I saw one of those big dogs as support animals. Like I don't know, like it might really be, but I'm terrified of dogs. See, this is my question, right? So now you have a right to your quote unquote comfort animal, and I want to see papers stating you need one. Uh, no, I'm being real because you know what? Listen. So
Hmm.
I have in my school we have disability services. Most universities, whatever, have stuff like this, where it's literally if you need special accommodations for whatever reason, you go and you register with these services. Now, if you have documented proof that you have whatever disabilities and that you require some type of accommodations, right? You need documented proof though, right? And so you come with those papers and you present them to the school. The school goes, okay, we're willing to accommodate you. They're not going to just say on your say so because you walked in and you're like, well, I feel that I might have anxiety, and so I would like extra time writing my test. Like, no, then be like, cool, you go to a doctor, you get assessed. If they say you got the anxiety and blah blah blah, then we'll help you. Without those papers, you ain't get nothing. So now I understand. Fine, you have anxiety or whatever the hell. So you went and you got one of these animals, and this animal is really helping you. Great. But what about my anxiety disorders, right? Because when I say I have a phobia of dogs, it's not a little bit. Like, I am terrified, not a little bit, terrified of dogs. Terrified of them. I don't care if they're tiny, those little tiny ones that fit in the palm of your hand, or big one. I am terrified of dogs. Okay, this is an actual phobia that I actually have. I'm not saying I don't like them. I'm saying I am terrified. I don't care if they're moving or not. I am that scared of dogs. So to
Mm.
me, this now comes down to, when do your rights encroach upon my rights, and whose rights get to be more valid? Because I don't understand why someone could bring something in that, if it stood up, it's as tall as me, and they could say, well, this is my comfort animal. But what if I'm terrified of horses? What if I have an actual documented proven phobia of horses? Does your anxiety disorder get to trump mine? Because my anxiety disorders, well, I'm just dealing with them over here by myself in a corner. How come you get to bring something to make me go into a full on panic? Now I gotta go leave this plane. I'm gonna miss my flight. And what? Why does
Hmm.
your anxiety trump mine? And why does your coping? See, I just went and took pills. See, normal people. I'm scared of planes. You know what I did? I'm not bringing some 200-pound animal onto a plane with me because I'm scared of planes. You know what I do? I take pills like normal people, right? Because the pills don't encroach on everyone else's safety, happiness, and well being. So I don't understand this. Why is it that this woman gets to bring a horse onto a plane with no regards for anyone else's allergies? People could have physical, actual allergies, so they might be allergic to horses. Now, what if someone gets onto a plane long before this lady, right? They get onto the plane, they're chilling, things cool, and then they start getting itchy eyes, they can't breathe well, and whatever. Oh, come to find out, this woman brought a horse on a plane. How is that reasonable? Does that person now, well, they better leave the plane because it's their fault they're allergic to this woman's comfort animal? Like, I, I don't get it. I don't get this.
Yeah, I think it's a bit much because now going back with the dogs, some people they have great fears with dogs because they've had bad experience. Um, that's pretty much it. They've had some bad experiences.
Mhm.
You do have the allergies as well,
Mhm.
and those planes come in and they grab the paper and stuff, and that's it. They don't really clean the plane between flights, and it's going to take some while, a while anyway to vacuum and do all of that if you actually were going to do it.
Mhm.
So how is it that you have it where the next person that's going to be on the plane is not going to have any type of reactions? Um,
Right.
because all these allergies nowadays. I mean, some people with peanut allergies, they can't even uh, be just near a peanut,
Mhm.
anywhere near it. Some can actually have to have it to touch their lips before something happens. Other people have it where they can't be in a room and couldn't have touched a plate or the pan or anything like that. So now with the dog, going back to him, when are you going to uh, make everyone aware that there is going to be a dog on that particular flight that I paid my money for?
Right.
When are you going to let me know? Are you going to let me know right before the flight, before the 1 week after they confirm their ticket sale, or how are you going to do that?
Mhm.
Because I should have the right as a passenger to decide to fly with you and on that particular flight. So why don't you make the passengers aware?
Right.
Um, when you play the video, it actually shows where people are surprised to see the animal. So if you were surprised to see it, it tells me you didn't know it was coming.
Mhm. Mhm.
You did not know.
Yep. I've never
Um,
been informed ever, and I haven't seen
mhm,
anything this ridiculous, but I have seen people come on with the dogs that fit inside purses and stuff like that, those little ones. And you just look
mhm.
around and someone's got one in their purse. I tell you, if I sat down and there was one of those, like, I wouldn't be sitting down, so they'd have a problem. Because what are you gonna do with me? Because I'm not getting in that seat unless that dog moves. So now what?
Mhm. Yeah, it isn't
Now
fair.
something's got to be done. right. It isn't fair because as you said, right, I paid my good money for this seat and for this flight. And it's not reasonable for me to expect that there will be animals on the plane since it's not something that you can just do. You know, like if I go to an
Right.
animal park, one of those dog parks, and then I'm mad that they're letting dogs run free, well, that's me being stupid, right? It's a dog park. That's what they do in a dog park. That's why they made dog parks. I don't have the right to be angry in that scenario. Um,
Right.
right? This is a plane. I think, for example, because I'm pretty sure, because I've been on flights, right, where they don't have peanuts. They don't offer any kind of nut on the flights anymore. They used to. I remember you just sit there and
Yeah.
get peanut
Mhm.
galore. Now you can't get nuts like that.
Mhm.
Um, and I have a feeling that the ones that like it's not an option at all. It's because someone has made it known that they have the allergy. So to prevent this person from dying from their airborne allergy, they just don't provide it on this flight. Um,
Mhm.
I find that to be reasonable because it's about life or death and your health on in a flying box in the air for hours. I would prefer that person not to die. If it means I don't get to eat a peanut and I have to eat something
Yeah.
else instead, fine. I think that that
Mhm.
is reasonable. There's no one in the world who's going to be able to say, well, I can only eat peanuts or I'll die. Like, that's not reasonable, right? So, fine. I
Right.
understand making accommodations for legit allergies, especially in a context like that where they're airborne allergies. Um, I'm not saying I don't care about people's psychological health and well-being, but to me this seems like I said it's not like, well, I have to pass people and their animals in the elevator. And every time I do it, like I literally curl
Mhm.
myself up in a ball in the corner. My hands, I keep them in a ball near my chest because I'm scared my fingers moving will attract the dog's attention. It'll come for me. But okay, fine. It's a moment in time, right? Just get through the moment in time and we're good. Or I could just choose not to get on the elevator, right, and just wait for the next one or
Mhm.
whatever. But I think in a case like this, I just am not sure, and I think we really have to re-examine some of these things. We're trying to be so permissive and inclusive and caring about and catering to everyone's issues so much that are
Mhm.
we forgetting that by doing that, sometimes we're trampling all over the rights of other people.
Yeah.
um and when does, again, like you said, when does it become too much? Well, when does it become unreasonable, and then what do we do in that case? How is it fair, right? And we have to look at
Mhm.
fairness, justice, equitability, and recognize that, yeah, okay, a we should be accounting, allowing for these things, I think, within reason. And you brought up a good point. Why are they not notifying everyone on that flight, especially the people who are sitting next to them, right? this
Right.
should this should be definitely an optional thing. It absolutely should
Yeah.
be. And if you got too much of the flight saying hell no, so it's not like you can seat the right, because if you could seat the horse, let's say in the back half of the plane, right, and then the front half of the plane, y'all are far enough away from the horse you don't even have to look at it, or you're far enough away from the dog you don't have to look at it. All right, fine. So, but if you get more than 50% of this flight that says, hell no,
Mhm.
not doing it, or the people who are supposed to be seated next to this person go, hell no, not doing it, then those people should be accommodated first, in my opinion. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, you got a choice of picking the aisle seat, the middle seat, window seat, now the animal seat. I mean, come
Yeah,
on.
the puppy
It's
seats.
just crazy. You gotta put that on there so I can know. Oh, there's gonna be an animal. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
well, I don't want to take this flight because I have an allergy, fear, whatever. I don't want to do that.
Right.
So you got to give these people options, but you're not going to do that
Mm-hmm.
because you're gonna get the money. You're gonna let it just try to let it just blow over, but it's coming. They're gonna get you.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna get you, and something's going to happen. What an animal is just that, an animal, and it will freak out for whatever reason. The animal ears may pop too much at altitude, and it's gonna go wild. It's gonna say, "You my own. I'm gonna bite you too."
Mm-hmm.
Kagow! And
Mm.
they're gonna end up putting that thing down. And then after they go through all that, oh well, our announcement, our CEO, he has decided that there are no more animals on the plane,
Mm-hmm.
snakes included.
No, and that is an important point, and that's where I say again, if y'all don't have paperwork proving that this is a service, because service animals are not just like, oh well, I picked this one from the pound and I love it. No, she's calm, she don't bite, she don't bark. No, they're trained. They're actually very heavily trained. Um, and so if your animal was not heavily trained, it's not certified. A, B, you're not certified as having something that needs that certified animal, then I don't think you should be, no one should even be looking at giving you this allowance anyway, period. Um, because those animals, I'm almost positive in order for them to be given that status where they're allowed to fly, I'm pretty sure they have to be trained for that as well. I don't think that that's a normal thing. And I do think that you check in with whoever's trained them, and they would have to be retrained or trained with some new things or whatever it is. Because again, they are animals. And we have to remember that they're not humans. And even humans who want to get onto a flight for the first time, they can react in all kinds of ways when they're exposed to it for the first time. Humans with rational thoughts who can and verbalize what they're thinking and feeling. So let's just remember that they have thoughts and feelings too. They can react in
Mm-hmm.
unpredictable ways too. And again, it comes down to, this is where I'm saying, did they have papers certifying some stuff? Because if they did not, I don't even know
Mm-hmm.
why we're having this discussion. I'm not sure that you can certify that baby horse. I don't know. Maybe she
Oh
did,
yeah.
but
Oh yeah, you can do that. Just slap a vest on it.
no, no,
That's
no.
it.
But you slap the vest on it all you want. That will get you through a whole lot of normal life circumstances for real, right? But there are some areas where saying, "No, I need you to provide that documentation that this is really a service animal, A, and B, that you really require a service animal. B, I think that this is one of those cases where they should be forced to provide that documentation. I really do. Sorry, but it's the
Wow.
same thing as disability services in the university. Everyone doesn't get accommodations who don't need accommodations. That's just the way it is. And in order for you to prove that you need the accommodations, and that's why you're going to get accommodations that are special, you need to have papers certifying that you need them. That's just the way it goes.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
my option is for them to have their own private stuff. How about that?
Yeah, good luck with
They
that.
have their plane.
Mm,
Let them get the money together and fly somewhere. They have that much emotional stress. Maybe they shouldn't be flying. So
mm,
they need to try to work that out. Coalition for everything supporting. They can try that,
mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not saying you can't
and
bring.
that way
Listen,
it'll be
you can fly
cool.
with your
They can make
animal.
some money.
No, well, no, listen, that is never gonna happen. There's not enough of them flying all over
Horses,
to exactly the places in the world you want to fly to. That's not gonna
horses,
happen.
horses. Get your own plane for your horses.
No, for real.
You can do that.
You know what though? No, because I mean, for real, they're not gonna do that. But
Of course
what I
not.
will say is this: it's not like you can't fly with your animal. You can. You know what? People, when they travel, like let's say they're gonna move to somewhere, they want to bring their cat, their dog, their whatever with them. They can. There's a whole place in the plane where you can put your animals to be transported. That's
Yeah, but
not
they
where
don't
all
want
the
to do that.
humans are.
Right, but they don't want to do that.
Mm.
Oh, I gotta have. Oh no, Johnny can't be back there. It's too dark. Oh, I don't know about Johnny if he's gonna make it. Okay, you
Yeah,
need to get
well.
your own flight then. Get your own private flight. Put your money together. Get you all a plane. Animals are us, and fly the friendly skies. They could do it. Try it.
Good
They'll make a
luck.
lot of money. Yeah, they'll make a lot of money. It'll catch
Oh,
on.
there's no way that they would not be able to make enough money to make that first flight because they would need to get hundreds of people to fill the first plane to go to the one destination. That means all these people who want to fly with their animal have to be willing to travel from A to B in that plane only. Good luck with
I can
that though.
I
Mm.
can see it now. They'll have a well I'm a retired uh, flight attendant, and I decided to volunteer my time. Well, I'm a pilot, and I'm retired. I don't really fly as much commercial as I used to, and I decided to volunteer my time for this wonderful thing that they're doing to support the service animals. And they could fly, and I don't have a problem with it. We go twice a week, and we just navigate wherever they need to go. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
they can do
Oh,
that.
thank you.
I can.
You know what? I cannot see it happening, but y'all, listen, stranger things seem to be happening in this day
Uh-huh.
and age. So I'm not gonna say it's not gonna happen because I've been proven wrong before. But I'm just gonna say, y'all are crazy. All right, uh, that is my final judgment on that.
Okay. All right then. Well, with that, then we'll get ready to close out with our segment, which is I
Mm.
can't. Where's the segment at? Where's the screen share? Screen share. Snap. All right. So my
Mm,
judge and jury segment is in full effect.
mm, mm, mm.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Today, good people, what we have is a daycare person. And there's a lot of story behind it. I don't care about all of that. I just want to show the foolishness of this one particular thing. I'll put in the chat room. You can read about the story yourself at your leisure. Let me copy that right quick. Copy and paste. Paste, paste, baby. Boop. There
Dun,
you
dun,
go.
dun, 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 dun.
All right. All right. So we have a woman at a daycare center, and she decided that you know she was going to run her daycare center the way she wanted to. Now we had spoke about this before that there are only supposed to be so many children per daycare worker. There's a law for that.
Mhm.
However, this woman, she decided that more money, more better, and that's what she ended up doing. She didn't care. So what she ended up doing is, at the time that she was caught, she had children that she hid in the basement. They all were under the age of 3 years old. Now I'm
Wow.
just wondering, when the police come to check to see what's going on, and your first idea was to try to hide 26 under 3-year old children in your home. You're trying to hide them. In that, look at his face right there on the screen. You couldn't even hide 3 children without them saying something in that spot. Three
Mm-mm.
children, you weren't even gonna get away with that. It's dark. I don't like
Mm.
this. I gotta be quiet. I don't know what quiet is at 3 years old. What are you talking about? But you had your idea of 26 children. Instead of just giving up, you lost, lady. You're caught. You're busted. You
Mhm.
literally thought you were going to be able to get away with putting 26 children down in the basement? Get out of here.
Wow.
That's just
Wow.
ridiculous. All for money. That wasn't going to work. The gig was up. It's okay. You play the game as long as you can. When you can't play it any longer, that's it. That's okay. There's nothing wrong
Mhm.
with that. It's over. The gig is up. I didn't collect as much money as I could. I can't win no more. I got to give it up. Lady, what is wrong with you? Why do you think that was a great idea? Give it up. And I'm not even going to, I put the article in the thing. You guys check that out yourself. It's ridiculous. The article itself is sad. So that's why I don't even want to talk about the whole thing. I just don't want to talk about it. I just want to point out that this woman thought that she can hide 26 children in that little basement of hers to keep from getting caught and keep running the game she was running. That is just ridiculous.
Wow.
And
Just
I'll
wow.
only say that she's done this or she has had other daycare centers in other states. And I'll just leave it at that. You do the research on your own. But this woman, no more children for her at all. She, I won't even. She can't even babysit her own grandchildren. That's it for children with her. No children are allowed to get near her. You've had your life with children. That's it. I think she's 53 years old. No more children around you for the rest of your life. Something's wrong with you. All for the bucks.
Mm,
And that's my
wow.
judgment.
I ain't got nothing else to say about that. I co-sign that because that is just wow. Just wow. Y'all, I understand, times are rough, money's tight, time is limited. you know um you're taking maybe referrals from a friend because this is the daycare your friend uses or blah blah blah. Y'all need to be more careful. And I'm not trying to criticize any parents here because like I said, I understand there's so many constraints. It's tough out there. And you got to find a daycare. There's only so much time you can take off of work, so on and so forth. You're trusting people at their word. You can't afford one of these centers. I understand. I'm not saying that, you got to go to one of these centers because I mean, we see bad things happen with those too, but you got to do some due diligence in some cases. You got to look up these women, or these daycare center people, see what their license is really for, see if they're even licensed. And if they are, what is their license for? What does it cover? Does it cover children as young as yours? For example, they might not be trained in a child as young as yours. You got to do some due diligence because unfortunately, we can't trust that people are going to be honest and that they're going to take care of your kids, and that they're going to do what's best for the children. That they're not just in this to make a buck. Like y'all, these are scary times. These are scary times for real, and it makes it harder, but at the same time, it's for the sake of your kids. This is crazy. I can't even believe this. Mm,
Thank you guys for coming out. I appreciate your support. We had a great time. Thank you for your participation in the chat room. Thank you for your likes, your time. I appreciate it all. Next week, and then also let me tell you guys about which Zero been putting it in the chat room for DJ Music. He has a great show on Wednesday and Sundays,
mm-hmm.
7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, playing some good music. If you're tired of hearing mumble rap, go check him out.
Mm-hmm.
Is GSRN, is Global Sensation Radio Network. Really great show. You can participate in the chat room. Music is great. You can give some requests. Check it out, everyone. And then back here on Fridays and Saturdays, Fridays 9:30 p.m. Central, and on Saturdays 7 p.m. Central. Normally we end this one at 8:30. I'm just extending it a little bit longer just to see what happens. If anyone, guys keep, showing up, we'll extend it a little bit. And I want to appreciate, just I appreciate you guys and your support. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Love y'all. We'll see you next week, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
See you next week. Thanks a lot, guys.
All
Peace.
right. Cheers, y'all.